Hello everybody, Courtney here from How to Loom Your Dragon. Today I will be doing a Christmas tutorial, and that is of Rudolph. Yay! He's really cute. This is the prototype I did. We're going to be doing pretty much the same thing, except his belly is going to be a little bit wider at the bottom because he's a little skinny. But yeah, so there he is, and we're also going to be making a wreath, which actually fits around his neck. And then you can even use the tying bands in the wreath to hang him on your Christmas tree, so he can be like a Christmas ornament. Okay, everybody, so let's get started here. You are going to be needing 1 loom, 6 of the Burgundy bands, that is the dark brown, 2 black bands, 80 white bands, 2 red bands, 16 gray, and 350 of the body color, which is the caramel brown. Okay. So, also, at some point I'm going to be making Clarice, so look for her tutorial as well. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to start by making his little horns. I'm going to take my hook, I'm going to take a burgundy band, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap that burgundy band around my hook, creating 5 loops around my hook. Then I'm going to take another burgundy, I'm going to double loop it, put it onto my hook, and I'm going to pull that first band onto those bands. I'm going to reclaim the end onto your hook. You're going to take another double looped burgundy, and you're going to pull those bands onto there. Okay, so it should look like this. Okay. I also recommend that you get a holding hook. If you don't have a holding hook, you can use a toothpick. I'm going to put this on a holding hook. Okay, let's make the second one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, wrapping it around, creating 5 loops. Double loop a burgundy onto your hook. Pull the bands onto your hook. Reclaim the ends. Double loop again. Pull those on just like that. Okay, and then we can put these onto here. Alright, so we got our 2 little horns done. Now we're going to be working on his front legs. So we're taking 3 of the caramel brown. Actually, take 2. 2 caramel brown like that. Alright, now take 3. 3 again, and again, and we're taking 3 again. Okay, here I'm going to double loop caramel brown. I'm going to double loop another caramel brown and put that right over that. This is the first time I'm ever doing this in my tutorials. We're doing that again. Double looped, another double looped on top of that. Again, double looped, another double looped on top of that. Double looped, another double looped on top of that. And one more double looped on top of that. Now I'm going to take 5 of the caramel brown, so 5. It's a very thick set here. And those are going right here. Okay. Take your gray. We are going to double loop a gray, like that. Another gray, like this. I'm going to take another gray and I'm going to cap off the end here, wrapping it around the peg, creating 5 loops on the peg. Same thing here. 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I'm going to loom. So I'm going to start here, going underneath the capping band, grabbing the double looped grays, looping them up. Going down here, grabbing the double looped grays, looping them up. Now you want to grab all 5 of the brown, loop them up, grab all these, loop them up, Just continue looping up. We want to grab the top 3 here, which are these, and grab the 3 in here, and grab these 3. And we're grabbing the final 2, and I'm going to tie off the end here. So grab a band of any color. I'm just going to use the red here. Just do a slip knot at the end, and we're going to pull this off. Very careful at the end here, you may want to use your hook to help lift the bands. Okay, so here we have one little hoof. Okay, we can tug at the bands a little bit, try to get them even there. Alright, I'm going to take these bands and I'm just going to spread them apart if they're tangled together. Okay, I'm going to take a white band and I'm going to just wrap it twice around the bottom of the hoof, just right here. Okay. Alright, so let's make the second front foot. This one is going to be opposite of the first one. So we're going to do it symmetrically to what we just did. 2 caramel bands here, taking 3 bands here, 3 bands here, and 3 here, 3 here, double looped, right on top of there. Let's do that again, double looped, double looped, double looped, double looped, double looped, double looped, and one more set, double loop, double looped. Alright, now grabbing 5, okay, grabbing the gray, double loop, another gray, double loop. Capping off by wrapping a gray around, creating 5 loops. Loop up this set first, then go down and do this set. Loop up these 5 and continue to loop up. Grab the top 3, loop them over. Grab these, loop them, loop these, and loop the final 2. Grabbing, again, I'm grabbing a red band, doesn't matter what color. Do a slip knot at the end and pull this off. Again, we can tug on the cap band to try to even it out a little bit there at the bottom. Okay, and then again, grabbing a white band and just wrapping it around, twice around the bottom of the foot, like that. Okay, so we have 2 front legs, or 2 horns. Now we're going to work on the back legs. First thing we're going to do is make a little muscle for him because his back legs are bulky, so we will be adding a bulk to it. So that is what we're doing first. 2 bands at a time. Grab 2 bands and make a triangle for our horizontal. And we are going to cap off the end, wrapping the band around the peg, creating 4 loops. since we have the room, let's make the muscle for the other side. 2 bands here, 2 bands here, 2 bands here. So this is symmetry. So if you don't know what I mean if I ever say make sure you make it symmetrical, that's what this means. It is the opposite, a mirror image of the first thing. Alright, grabbing 2 bands, making a triangle, capping off the end, wrapping it around, creating 4 loops. Alright, let's loop up this guy first. Go down under the capping band, grab the top 2, loop them. Grab the top 2 from in there, loop them. Loop up here, and loop up here. Okay, let's do the same thing to this one. Loop here, go under, grab the top 2, loop up those, grab these 2, loop them. Okay, loop these, and these, and these. Okay, I am doing my tying bands. So I'm tying off this end, the slip knot, and this end. And this end. And 3 here as well. Okay, let's pull off this one. Alright, so this is the muscle. Put that up, put that aside. Pull off the next one, another muscle, put that aside. And now we're going to work on the leg itself. So, taking 2 bands here. Alright, we're going to take 2 here. 2 here. And 2 here. 2. There are 2 horizontal right there. Now I'm going to take 3 bands. Okay, now I'm going to do my double looped. Again, double looped. Double looped here. Again. Double looped here. Again. Double looped here. Again. Now I'm going to take 5 bands. 5. Let's go right here. Take your gray band, double loop again, diagonally, and cap off the hoof, wrapping each one around, creating 5 loops. We're going to loop up this one first, so go under the capping band and loop up. Here, go under, loop up. Alright, we're going to start looping up these, but watch me because we're going to stop once we get to the thigh. So, right here, I stopped here. You're going to grab your thigh for this side, so if you look at it, actually they're both pretty much the same, so it doesn't really matter. We made them opposite, but it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is we are going to be, well, look at it first. You have the capping band here. Okay, so the capping band is on toward this side, okay? So if it's this way, just flip it over. Alright, so here's the capping band. It's toward this side. We're going to flip the thigh upside down, or the muscle, go through the capping band, so go through all 4 loops of the capping band, wrap that right around this peg like that. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to go in to that peg and you're going to loop the top 2 bands, which are these 2, and the next 2 bands as well, which are these. Okay, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to loop these 2 and the next 2. What it looks like. Oh, never mind. Okay. You're going to lift the muscle up so it looks like this. And if you look, you see your capping band is now, there's bands running through the middle. And then you have this set of bands right here. We're going to go through the 4 loops there. Okay? Went through the 4 loops of the next set. We're going to wrap them right around this peg here. Okay? Then we're going to loop up these bands. Don't worry if it comes up a little bit. It's secured, so it's not going to get messed up. Okay. Then we're going to go through the next set of 4 loops here on the edge. Okay, I'm not going through the horizontal bands that are in there, just the outside loops. Wrap those around this peg. Loop up, like so, and then you're going to loop the bands that the tying band is tying off. You're going to loop those around this peg. Make sure you go through the loops and not between the loops. Okay, then we can loop this guy. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side of the muscle. So here's the capping band that's wrapped around the bands. We're going to go to this set of bands above it, open up the loops, wrap them around that peg. Go underneath and loop up these 2 bands. Okay. Go to the next set of loops, wrap them right around there. Okay. Now we're going to go through the middle set that is tied off. Go through the loops, wrap them right around here, and go down and loop up these diagonals. Then we can loop up these diagonals, and this is where we're going to attach this set. So go through these loops, wrap them right around here, and loop up the final 2 bands. I'm going to tie it off with a different color. I'm going to use a dark green, tie off right there. I should be able to lift off the leg. Okay. Again, I'm just going to tug on the capping band around the hoof, try to even out those bands, or that band. Okay. So we made a little bit of a muscle on him, so we can take off the red tying bands now. You want to leave the green one on, but you can take the red ones off. Once you've done that, you can take a white band and wrap it around the hoof again twice, making that little white stripe. Okay, and we can put that aside. Okay, so let's do the other leg. We have the muscle done already. So we're taking 2 bands, putting them right there. 2 bands. 2 bands. 2 bands. Okay, we're going 2 bands this way. So it's the same thing, it's just symmetrical to what we just did. That's all. Grab your 2 bands for your horizontals right here. Now we're going to take 3 bands. Okay, we're going to do our double loop now, so double looped, double looped, double looped, double looped, double looped, double looped, one more set, double looped, double looped. Grab your 5, go here, double loop a gray and another gray, wrap a capping band around, creating 5 loops. Okay, let's loop up this one first, then go down and do this one. Then grab the 5 and just go up until we reach the thigh. Okay, so here, again, grab your other muscle, okay? The capping band is toward this side, okay? Turn it upside down, go through the capping band, wrap the loops of the capping band around this peg. Okay, then go in and loop up the top 2. And then we can loop up these 2, but if this comes off, make sure you put it back on like that. And these 2. And we can loop up these 2 here. Okay, so lift up the muscle. Okay, so you have your capping band here wrapped around these bands. Go through the next set here on the left, open up the loops, put them right around there, then go down and loop up this set here, and go through the next set on the edge, loop them right around there, then go down and loop up these bands here. Okay, and then we can attach the set that's tied off. Make sure to wrap the loops around the peg. Right. Okay. Then we're going to loop up to here. Go through the middle peg, the middle set, wrap them around there. Go down and loop up this set. Then here, you have your capping band, see it down here, go through the set above that, wrap it around that peg and loop up, go through the next set, wrap it around the peg, loop up, go through the final set, wrap it around the peg and loop up. Again, I'm tying this off with a different color, green. Then you can pull this off. Okay, again, I'm going to try to even out the tips of the hooves. Okay, kind of pull the hoof apart if it's tangled up. Okay, grab a white band and wrap it twice around that hoof. Okay, then we can pull off the red tied bands. Alrighty. Cute. My bands are still tangled up though. Okay. Whoops. Okay. So we've done all the legs. So now we're going to move on to the head. Okay. So we're doing the head in 3 parts. This is the first part. Take 2 bands at a time here. Okay. I'm going to double loop 1 band and bring it across like that. Then I'm going to grab the holding hook with my 2 horns on it. I'm going to grab another double looped band onto the hook and pull the horns onto that double looped band. I'm going to wrap the ends around the same pegs that I just put the other double looped band on, like this. Okay, then I'm going to spread the horns apart, and I'm going to grab 2 of those bands, 2 of the 4 bands between the horns, and bring them over this peg, like that. Okay, and I am also going to, let me see. No, that's it. Okay. We're going to take a single caramel band and cap off the end here, wrapping it around, creating 4 loops. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go down and I'm going to go past the capping band, grabbing the top 2 underneath there, looping those over. Okay, same thing again, grabbing the next 2, untangling the bands, grabbing these, going down, grabbing these, and grabbing these. I'm going to go up once on each side. Okay, we have to make and attach our ears here. Okay, so I'm going to take a caramel band onto my hook. I'm going to wrap it around, creating 5 loops. 5 loops on your hook. Then I'm going to take a double looped single caramel band onto my hook, pulling that band onto it and reclaiming the end. I'm going to take 3 caramel bands and pull double looped band onto there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it down and let go so it looks like this. I'm going to take 2 white bands and I'm going to wrap one around my hook, creating 4 loops, and then the second doing the same thing, creating 4 loops. Then I'm going to reclaim the end. Then I'm going to take 2 caramel bands onto my hook. I'm going to pull them over in order onto those 2 bands. Okay, reclaim the end of the 2 bands. And then I'm going to take a double looped single band onto my hook, pull that onto it. This is 1 ear. I'm going to put that ear right onto this peg. Wrap it right around that peg. Alright, let's make our second ear. Again, wrapping a caramel band around, creating 5 loops. Then double looping a single caramel, pulling that caramel band onto that. Then take 3 caramel bands and pull that onto there. push it down, let go, grab a white band, wrapping it around, creating 4 loops. Grab a second white band, wrapping it around, creating 4 loops. Reclaim the edge, or the end, the three bands, whatever. Then take 2 bands and pull them all onto the 2 bands in order. Reclaim the end. Then we're going to take a double looped single. Okay, just like that. And that is the other ear. Okay, and this one obviously is going to go on the other side right here. Okay, once you've attached them both, loop up the final set. And once you do that, you can tie off your 3 ends. Then we're going to lift off. Carefully. Okay. So once we've done that, we can kind of adjust it. Just pull, make sure the ears are up and the antlers are up. Okay. Awesome. So put that aside. Let's work on the second part of the head. Take 2 caramel bands, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. Take 2 here, 2 here. Same on the other side, 2 and 2. Okay. Now I'm going to make the eyes. I'm going to take 3 white bands. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on my hook all together and twist them around twice. So I put them on and then I twisted around twice, so it looks like this. You have 3 sets of 3, it looks like. Then you're going to take a single black band, going to wrap it around the hook, creating 5 loops with that single black. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to take 2 caramel bands onto the hook and pull those onto there. So pull on the black, then pull the white. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to put one end here and the other end here. Make sure the part with the black is toward the bottom, so don't make it black and then white here. So just black is here, white is here. Alright, let's make the other eye. Grabbing 3 more white, wrapping them around twice. Same thing we just did. Just looks all tangled up though. It looks all twisted. Try to get it so it's not too twisted up. It's kind of difficult, but alright, then a single black band. Come on. Wrapped around, creating 5 loops. Then grab 2 caramel bands onto your hook. Pull on the black, then pull on the white. Okay, the end toward the white goes here, the end, the black goes here. I'm going to take a caramel band and cap off the end here, wrapping it around the hook, the peg, creating 4 loops. Take 2 caramel bands here and 2 here. Okay. You're going to take the forehead that you made, right? Push this down. Turn it upside down so the horns are on the bottom. Go. Oh man, my throat tickles. Go through the capping band, wrap it around this bottom peg. Now we have to dig down below both capping bands to grab these two eye bands. Okay, it's a little tricky. I almost grabbed the wrong band. So I'm just lifting it up so I can see where they are. So don't worry, I'm not doing anything tricky. I'm just finding the two bands. Found one. Found the other. Alright. Don't want to mess with it too much or they'll snap. Go back down and loop two eye bands for the other side, and then loop up the bottom two for the middle of the head. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to also loop up these two and these two. Okay, and we're also going to loop up here and here. Okay, then we can lift this, and we are just going to attach the three loose ends to these three pegs. So going through these loops, attaching them here, and looping up. Going through the middle set, wrapping them around here, looping up, and this set here, wrap those around here, and loop up. Alright, I'm going to use a different color to tie off the ends here, using green. Pull this off. Okay, it looks weird, don't worry, it's supposed to look, his eyes are supposed to look strange right now. Alright, so we can take off the red bands. Okay. Now we are going to do the last part. So taking 3 of your body color, putting them diagonally, taking 3 more, putting them here. I'm going to take 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. And now I'm going to make the bottom of his mouth. So I'm going to take a white band onto my hook. I'm going to wrap it around, creating 5 loops on my hook. Then I'm going to take a double looped white onto my hook, pulling that onto the double looped white. Reclaim the loops, and you're going to wrap them right around this peg here. Like that. Okay, let's continue with the caramel bands, so taking 2 at a time. And then we're going to bring 2 all the way like this. And 2 like that. Okay, grab 2 across here, 2 across here. And now we are going to attach the mouth. We're going to make the top of the mouth. First we're going to make his little nose, so grab a red band. I'm using the jelly red because it's brighter. Wrap it around your hook, creating 5 loops. Then take another red and double loop it onto the hook and pull that onto it. Okay, then we're going to take 3 white bands onto the hook, pulling the red onto the white, reclaiming the loops of the white. You're going to lay this right onto here, like that. Okay, so there's a very thick set on these, on that peg. Okay, now we're going to take the top of the head, turn it upside down so the ears and horns are facing down, go through the capping band, attach it around this peg. So remember the head's upside down right now? Okay. Now, this is a little tricky. We have to go in and we have to find these two bands and loop them, okay? There's a very, very thick set of bands here, so it might take some time. And you want to go down and grab the next pair. Okay. Then you want to dig all the way down to the bottom and find the two at the very, very bottom. Loop those up. Okay, we're also going to loop up these and these, and we're going to loop up once and twice here. Okay, I'm going to lift this. Okay. Now you have your eye here, and you have the set of bands that's being tied here. You're going to go through the the set on the side that's the next one down from this one. So there's horizontal bands here. I want this set, the one that's above the eye and below the set that's tied off. Go through those 4 loops, open up the hole, wrap them right there, and loop up. Okay. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So finding the middle set and going through the loops on the side, opening up the hole, wrapping them right there, looping up. Alright, I'm going to attach the end that's being tied off by the green band on this side, go through those loops, wrap them right around this peg, and then loop up the diagonal. Let's do the opposite side. So on the other side, going through the loops, wrapping them right around here, and looping the diagonal. Then you want to loop this guy, don't forget this. Loop him up. Once you do that, we can attach this middle set right around this peg. And then we're going to dig down and we're going to find these 3. Okay, so dig down, find those 3. Looks like I'm grabbing too many though. Whoops. Dig down, grab the next 3, loop them over. I'm going to use the red again because I have green here, so I'm going to use red to tie off these 2 ends. And then very carefully, you can lift Okay, so once you lift him off, he'll probably look a little funky. Needs some adjusting. Okay, so make sure his eyes are popping out properly. Okay, his mouth. You can pull his ears up. You want to pull off the green bands here. Okay, so there's his head. It's absolutely adorable. Put that to the side. We are going to, also pull the mouth down a little bit if you want to. Okay. Alright, put that aside. We are doing the stomach area now. So you're going to be needing white bands. We are going to take 2 white bands here, 2 white bands here, and 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. Going to cap off right here, wrapping it around, creating 4 loops, and also here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to loop up each of these. These are stomach extension pieces. Okay, so when I say grab your stomach extension pieces, that's what this is. Pull them off, untangle them so they're not all weird looking. Okay, I'm going to put those to the side whilst I make the stomach. So I'm taking white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, taking 2 white here, that's on the 5th to the 6th peg. White again, white again. So I went down 6 times. Down 5 times there, and we're also going to do that on the other side. Okay, now I'm gonna take 2 of the caramel brown here, and 2 more here, and then 2 white here. And do the same thing on the other side. So 2 caramel brown here, 2 caramel brown here, 2 white. I'm going to take 2 caramel brown diagonally this way, and 2 diagonally this way. Double loop a caramel that goes across here. Double loop another one that goes across here. I'm going to cap off these ends with white. 3, 4, wrapping the white around the peg, creating 4 loops. Okay, I'm going to take the 2 stomach extension pieces. I'm going to wrap one right around here. Okay, so I wrapped the loops around that peg. Let's do that on the other side with the other one, right here. Then we're going to go through the cap band here, and we're going to bring that right onto this peg here, right around that peg. Alright, let's do that with the other side. Go through the cap band, bring it all the way down onto this peg. Okay. Now we're going to take 2 bands at a time, making our horizontal bands. Just like that. Okay, now we can loop this stomach. So let's start here. Go under the capping band, grab the 2 white, go under, grab the 2 caramel, go diagonally here. You can go up this row. Here you want to make sure you dig down, grabbing the 2 at the bottom. Here, dig down here, dig down here. Okay, let's do this side. Go under the capping band, looping those two, going under, looping the next two, looping the top two caramel bands. Oops, they're a little twisted here. And loop up this column. Okay, and then we're going to loop up here. Alright, once we've done that, I'm going to tie off my ends. And pull off the stomach. Okay, put that aside. And now we're going to do the main body and attach everything. Oh wait, first we got to do a little tail piece first. Take 2 white bands, then take 3 white bands. And just cap that off. Wrapping it around 4 times is fine. Then loop up. Loop up again. I'm going to tie off my end here. This is for the tail in a little bit. We will add that on toward the end. Alright, so put that aside. And let's do the body. So I'm going to take a double looped caramel brown. Then I'm going to take 2 caramel brown. I'm going to take 2 again. Actually, let's do 3 here. 3 caramel brown. I'm going to double loop single caramel brown here. Okay, now we're going to do 2 at a time, going down 6 times. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's go down here. So 2 going diagonally here. That's on the 5th peg, going diagonally. Take 2 at a time, going down. Okay, let's do that to the other side. Double loop. Oh wait, before we do that, we want to attach the legs before we put the horizontals on. So, grab your legs, all 4 of them, and what we're going to do is grab this one, okay? The tying band is on this side, the hoof is in front, okay? It's facing front, it's not backwards. Grab this one. This one we are going to attach right, hold up, let's do, okay, this one we are attaching right onto this peg, but we have to take the thing off. So just lift up these bands, bring them down, go through the bands that are being tied off, Okay, wrap them right around this peg, just like that. Okay, and then we can replace these. Okay, it looks weird, you might think it's not going to turn out the right direction, but it will. Lift up these, grab your other leg, make sure you attach it so it's this way and the hoof is angled down. Go through the loops, wrap it right around this peg, replace those bands. Okay. Now we're going to attach the front legs, which of course we have to take these off. Sorry guys. We are going to lift up these bands and these bands. Okay. Grab this one. Okay. The tied end is over here and the hoof is angled down. It's bent down. Okay. This is going to go right here. So go through the loops right here. Okay. And then let's go through the other one here. So make sure that all your legs are bent, are curved that way and not curving up. Okay? Make sure. Okay, then we can replace these. And then we can put these back on. Okay. Okay, now we can put on the horizontals. I'm double looping the caramel there, and here I am taking 2 at a time. Just like that. Alright, now you're going to take the head, you're going to turn it upside down, go through the set of loops on this side, you're going to pull off the tying band. This is a little tricky, this part, so be very careful, make sure this doesn't come undone. You're going to wrap all the bands around this peg and you're going to push it as far down as it can go to try to keep the bands from coming off. Same thing on the other side. Just like that. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to lift up the top 3 of each of the loops we just put around. Like that. Keep it on the holding hook. Double loop a caramel band, put it across here. If you don't do this, there will be a little hole in his neck, which you don't want. Then you can replace the loops back onto the pegs. This one and this one. Okay, now you're going to grab your stomach, and it's curved like a boat, okay? You're going to hold it this way so it's curving, or this way, it's curving this way. We're going to go through the capping band here. We're going to wrap those loops right around the same peg that the head is attached on. And same thing with the other side. Just like that, okay? Then we're going to dig all the way down, and we're going to loop up the bottom 2 bands on each side. So there and here. Then you're going to lift up the stomach. Okay, so the capping bands are resting on these bands. You're going to go through the next set of loops, which are these white loops, open up the hole, attach them around this peg. Go down and loop up the next set. Same thing on this side. Go through the hole, open up the hole, loop the bands. This is my new stomach attachment technique. Then we're going to go through the first loops of the Burgundy on the side. Wrap those around here. Go all the way down and loop up these bands. Same thing over here. just like that. Continue, go through these. Okay, so we're just going through the loops on the edges in order, attaching them to each peg as we loop up. Now, before we do any more, we want to loop up the... Oh, you know what? Ugh. Darn. I forgot to loop those. I have to put a note in the video for you guys, so you know not to mess up like I just did. Forgot to loop these bands. That's what I did wrong. I'm just unlooping. Okay. So I had you skip ahead to this point because I messed up. So you have attached the white and then looped up to here. What we want to do now is we want to loop these diagonals. Okay, so go down and loop these and these. Okay, once you do that, we're going to loop all the way up, or almost all the way up the middle here, up to here. Okay. Now, we're going to go through the first set of the brown here, go down, loop up here. Okay, go through these. Go down and loop these guys. Alright, go through the next brown loops, wrap those, loop up. Same thing on the other side, loop up. Alright, then we're going to go through the white loops. Loop up. Then we're going to go through these white loops, the ones all the way on the outside. Wrap those around there. Loop up. Same thing on this side. And then go through the capping band. There was a capping band in there, but I didn't go through it. Okay, and as we go, we can kind of lift him up as we go to keep the bands from being stretched out, so let's lift him up a little bit. Okay, once you've lifted him up some, we can continue here, so going through the next set on the side. Oops. Can lift him up a little more. Okay, and then grab the final set, the one that's tied off here. Go through the loops and wrap them right around this peg. loop up here. Same thing on the other side, go through the other loops, loop up. And then we want to dig down and grab these two, don't forget those. And then attach this final end here. Loop up once here. Now we're going to grab that little white piece. Okay. We're going to go through the loops that are being tied off, wrap them right around here, loop up twice, and then go through the capping band, wrap that right around this peg, and then just go through this loop up. And I'm going to tie it off with another caramel band. And we can lift him the rest of the way off. Yay! Now his legs are going to look a little bit dangly. We're going to fix that in a sec. Okay. And his butt looks really big, and it's supposed to, and I'll show you why. Because when we line up the legs, it won't look big and dangly. Alright, so what we can do right now is I'm going to pull off all the tying bands except for the one at the very end of the tail. So let's do that. Okay, now his legs are a little bit weird looking, so we're going to fix that. So with the front legs, what we're going to do is we are going to turn them so the hoofs are facing outward, so the pointy part of the thigh in the front leg is in the back. I'm going to grab your hook and you're going to grab 2 caramel bands. I'm going to go through these 6 loops in the it's like the elbow thigh area, and then you're going to go through some loops in the side of the body, and we're going to tie it together. So we're just pulling those 2 bands through all those loops, tying a slip knot. Okay, and then going into the stomach and pulling those bands into the stomach. Just like that. Just don't let them be seen. They should be hidden in there. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. Going through the bands in the elbow, thigh, going through some bands on the side of the body, grabbing 2 caramel bands, pulling them through the loops, tying a slip knot, and going into the stomach and pulling those 2 bands into the stomach area. It takes some time for it to look neat, because you don't want it to look sloppy. Okay, and we're going to do that with the back legs too. Okay, so they're sticking up. Okay. Turn it so the curvy part is facing back. Okay, go through the bands in the back. Go through these bands here in the body. Pull 2 bands through. Kind of just use your judgment as to which bands to pull them through. There's no rule, but you know, totally up to you. Go into the stomach. Pull them through the stomach. Or into the stomach, rather. Okay, same thing with the other side. Alright, so his legs are a little bit more secure. This is where I recommend you use that wire to make them even more secure. With this band at the end of the tail, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the set of caramel bands kind of underneath it, pull it through, then do the next set, pull it through there, kind of like a zigzag until it disappears. Or until it's like hidden. Alright, so there's that. Okay. This eye is annoying me because it's got a bunch of loose bands right next to the pupil, which I don't like that. Probably just making it worse. Whatever. Okay, so there he is. So what I recommend you do is you put wire through him so that you can pose him like this guy. Okay. You can pose his legs. I am going to be making a little wreath right now really quick. Okay, so if you want to do that, stay with me and we'll do that. So I'm going to take I'm going to use the dark green and the lime green. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 dark green and 2 lime green onto my hook. I'm going to twist them once around. Then I'm going to take a dark and a lime onto the hook, pulling that onto it. And laying those ends here and here. Okay, let's do that again. Actually, let's add a little bit of gold to this one. If you have a gold band, that might be interesting. Let's see what that does. Okay, same thing. Put it on. And same thing again. Same thing again, this time with a gold band. By the way, you can, so what you're going to do now is continue here to here to here to here to here, and then tie off here. But I'm actually going to make my wreath a little bit bigger, so if you have extra green than what the band count said, then you can totally make it a little bigger as well. I'm just making my wreath a little bit larger, just to make 2 different size ones. You know. Whoops. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a red band onto my hook, wrapping it around, creating 5 loops. Not 4, I want 5. And I'm going to take 4 red bands and pull that onto there. Okay, so it's kind of like a little bow. Okay, then I'm going to let go. I'm going to go through that capping band with the hook, pulling a green through it, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do anything with that yet. I'm going to put that aside like this. Let's cap off our end here. 1, 2, 3, 4, wrapping the band around, creating 4 loops. And we're going to loop the wreath. Okay. So we are looping. Whoops. What I'm going to do actually, I'm going to unloop this. I'm going to take these 2 loops off. So this side I'm taking off. I'm going to tie it off with a green band. So I'm just going to do a slip knot here for a moment. And here I'm going to do the same thing. Slip knot at the end. Alright, so I slip knotted the 2 ends. I'm going to pull it off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this green, this is a little tricky, stick like a holding hook through one loop in the bow, in the green, and then the other loop we're going to wrap around the wreath, and then bring the other loop around the other side. So it's like a little bow at the bottom. Okay, there's your little bow on your wreath. And I can just tie these 2 ends together, so I'm going to go through the loops here and the loops on the other side that are being tied off. And I'm just going to take, let's say, a light and a dark green band and tie off that end. And once I do that, I can actually take off the other bands. And there is your adorable little wreath. What we can actually do is, if you have scissors, I'm just using wire cutters because they're what's here, chop one of the loops see if this works. Figures. It's not gonna work with wire cutters. I chopped one of the loops, and I'm trying to get it so it's like that little let me get scissors. Try to chop it so it's like the ribbon at the bottom. So just chop one of the ends. So it looks a little fancier that way. And these loops we can kind of hide in a little bit. And you can grab Rudolph and you can put the wreath around his neck like this. And he looks absolutely adorable. I love him. I hope you love yours. I highly recommend that you put wire in him, except his one eye is acting all weird, but definitely put wire in him so that you can pose his legs. Okay, everybody? So there is your cute little Rudolph guy. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. These loops you can actually use to hang him on your Christmas tree, so he's like a Christmas ornament. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. That's it. Alright, I will see you for Clarice, who is coming up next. Alright, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Don't forget to show me pictures on Facebook and Instagram. Check out the description for that. Merry Christmas!